Okay, welcome to this hackathon called Replications and Reversal in Social Sciences. For me, this is the second time we're doing this hackathon. And it's, yeah, I think it's a really, really cool project. And over the next few minutes, we're gonna, as a team, explain a bit more about what the project is and what we're gonna do today.
Yeah, so a big hello from the team. We have Helena here and Meng, Mahmoud, myself, Shalan, and Flavio, and Ala, and we also have some other great people supporting this project.
Okay, so not all published research results are reproducible and or replicable. In 2015, the Open Science collaboration showed only 40 to 65% of some of the classic results being replicated in a weak sense of finding statistical significance for the same direction of effect. So what I mean by this is like it's less than zero or greater than zero effect. Also, it's been observed that reversals happen with some frequency. So what I mean by reversals is effects that in context of replications, they're opposite of the original effect or the lack of the original effect. For instance, Twins in 2013 argued that there's an increase in narcissism in leadership, vanity, and entitlement facets in young people over the last 30 years. However, Wetzel observed that there was a slight significant decrease in narcissism in leadership, vanity, and entitlement facets in students. So, reversals in psychological science are far less costly to society than medical reversals, but it still pollutes the goal of science to accumulate knowledge. Nevertheless, one of the biggest problems about these reversals is most of them are kind of scattered around the literature, making it difficult to have an overview of studies to replicate in student projects. Finally, reversal effects are not yet incorporated into research training student education. This is worrying because this makes our students less likely to be critical consumers of research. Less able to provide a balanced perspective of how the effect may occur, what are the conditions, and if the effect is even true. It is therefore important to consider reversals into research training.
So we have a two-step solution to this, and what we're trying to work on today as well is, first of all, collating all of those effects that have either been reversed or they have not been replicated, or maybe even successfully replicated in the social sciences. And we're trying to put those all together in one spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet is still very much a work in progress. So we're working on brainstorming and refining the spreadsheet as we go along. And then we're working on building an open resource based on this, where we take the effects that have been collated in the spreadsheet and writing about them in more detail. So adding things like the effect sizes that were in the original study and what we found now. And we're doing this on a Google Doc. And we're working on both at the same time. So on the spreadsheet and the Google Doc, and they're both kind of documents that feed into each other.
Okay, so we're gonna do this. We'll break this session into three parts, and what we're currently at is the welcome and overview, and then we're gonna do the two steps one by one. So how about let's just get started into step one. So I'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of the step one. Okay, so that's the screenshot of the Google spreadsheet, and so as you can see, as Ala just mentioned, we're basically just creating an index sheet. So you can just fill in the discipline name, the reversal effect name, the sub effect name if applicable. And then there are a couple of more columns tracking the status of the entries. For example, once you've started working on an entry, you just put in Y to indicate that you're currently working on this so that other people know. And then once you've finished, you just take the on GDoc to Y so that, you know, people know that this one is complete. And then don't forget to sort of put in your name, your affiliation, and your email. I think there are a couple of new columns in the spreadsheet just to help us sort of keep everything more organized and structured, which are pretty sort of self-explanatory. So you can just go check out the spreadsheet. I've already put in the links in the chat. If you're not seeing it, just let me know. I'm going to post it again. So how about we just start the timer and start working.
Start the timer, so we will have, oh, it's exactly 9:40, perfect timing, Meng. So we'll have 10 minutes for the first step, which is just brainstorming more entries. You can have a look at the spreadsheet. You can also, so I put some entries just briefly in the bottom of the document. You can also start working on those, or you put new entries in. And then in 10 minutes, we'll talk about the second step.
Right. I'm assuming that I'm the only one that's not familiar with this thing. Is that correct? Am I the only outsider in the session?
I think there's Biljana, but she's also kind of in the project. So she knows
okay.
Yes, but you can ask any questions you.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry, but I'm a bit unclear about how I'm going to go about brainstorming, to be honest. That's why I'm.
So the idea is that all of us come from different disciplines, right? Mm-hmm. So we all have kind of a little bit of knowledge about effects in our field that, for example, have not been replicated, maybe even reversed, or we don't know about them. So mm-hmm. the idea is that within your field or within your field of expertise that you have, try to think about effects that might not have been replicated or that you know about that might have been reversed. Okay. And then the idea for the first step is just to add those to the spreadsheet as a new row. So really to just try to get as many effects down as possible. And then in the second step, we'll start working on the already existing effects in the spreadsheet in a bit more detail.
Okay, wonderful. I can do that. Thanks so much for clarifying.
And since we're not that many people, I will stop the sharing because otherwise I cannot do any work during. But if new people come in, I'll be responsible for explaining. Okay, we know that was a very short amount of time, so feel free, of course, to continue with adding your entry in the next step. But I'm just going to quickly explain what we want to do for the rest of the session. So step 2 is kind of more concerned with putting a little bit more information about each entry in the GDoc that is related to the spreadsheet. And we also put the link to that in the chat. The idea now is that you select an effect that you want to work on that is in the spreadsheet, either the one that you created yourself or the one, just any one that is not finished. Mark in the started column whether you're working on an entry so people know that you're working on that, and don't forget to put your contact information, like your affiliation and name. And then the idea is to extract some information and put it into the Google document. And on the left side here you can see a template that we use, and the template is also in the beginning of the Google Doc. So you can just copy it, and then the green text should be exchanged with information from your effect or your paper. And then the information that you're going to add is whether the study has been replicated, not replicated, or reversed. So you choose one of them. You put the original paper with the year, study design and sample size, and citations. And then the critiques, if there are more critiques, you just list all of them after each other. And then we also report the original and the replication effect sizes. On the right side here, you see an example of what this looks like. And also you can have a look at the entries in the GDoc that are already completed to get an idea of what this looks like. And yeah, the idea is now for the rest of the time, so until 10:30, to work on incorporating as many effects as we can into the GDoc, but of course feel free to finish working on your spreadsheet entry and then converting that into a GDoc. Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to set the timer for 40 minutes and we'll just continue. Okay, thanks everybody so much for contributing. This was it from us for this hackathon, but of course the work doesn't end there. So we're of course happy if you continue to support us and to provide entries in the spreadsheet or in the Google Doc. The slides of this hackathon can be found or will be found on our website, and we'll also upload the recording of this talk or of this hackathon to YouTube, to our channel. And yeah, I think we have some final words. And I will click.
Yeah, so if you want to join us, everyone who wants to contribute is very welcome to do so. We have a Slack channel We also have a lot of open resources on the website, so you can see the links on the slides here. We also just posted a preprint, so maybe we can post the link to that in the chat, because the preprint gives a really nice overview of all of our resources that we provide. And you are also very welcome to submit your own open science resources. We have a self-assessment survey that you can take, and you can share your own teaching materials and pedagogies. So yeah, very welcome to join us.
Yes. And then I guess we'll see you at the next hackathon.